All right, punter. So we knew a lot going into fall camp, and there's some stuff that will reveal itself, of course, along the way, position battles, things like that. But one thing that we do not know a lot about is this Australian punter that they brought in. He's going to be Nebraska's punter. His name is Archie Wilson. So let Matt Rule here on the Vidya stream tell you a little bit about Nebraska's new punter.
Yeah, he didn't really punt today. I saw him a little bit in the summer. I think what he can do is fantastic. I mean, he can roll right, he can roll left, he can really run. He's fast, he can throw. Yeah, but I'm saying he can punt with both feet. Really fun guy. I'm really glad that he's here. But it's certainly not going to be a moving target. And I think the ability that he has to run the ball and throw the ball. I think we proved last year. I think we faked it a couple of times. We'd love to fake the ball. So if you know that you don't know the aiming point, and you know that there's always a chance that he could throw the ball or run with it, I think that is going to put defenses really at a disadvantage. And he can kick all the different kicks. He can kick the banana ball. He can kick all. So when you talk about our wind here at Memorial Stadium, the ability to spin the ball in different ways, and so those guys that grew up playing rugby and Australian rules football, like, kind of basically play catch with their feet too, So I mean, he's really special with the things he can do.
What's a banana ball?
It's a ball that just spins this way, and so it just kind of boomerangs on you like a banana. Like I said, bananas on you, and so it's just. We had Johnny Hecker at Carolina, was one of the great punters the last 25 or 30 years, and he could kick balls that were almost impossible to catch with no wind. And so you start getting across the 50, and you're kicking balls that guys are probably in a fair catch. There just adds another element of a lot of teams, when they face a left-footed punter, they'll try to have a left-footed guy in that week. Like in the NFL, they'll bring a guy in for practice squad that week because the ball spins differently. Well, Archie's going to kick the ball right-footed. He's going to kick the ball left-footed. So as a returner, you have both spins, and then he can do banana balls. And so the ball's going to go this way, the ball's going to spin this way. So it's just an added element. When you think about the close games we've had, one or two turnovers changes everything. So.
Shout out to Sipple, by the way, for asking that important follow-up question. Hey, what's a banana ball? Obviously, Sipple has never heard of the Savannah Bananas, which makes a ton of sense, actually. Well, but he has grandkids, like you would assume that they would tell him about the Savannah Bananas.
I mean, they're
hey, Grandpa, take me to the Savannah Bananas game.
They're poking the idea of potentially bringing them into Lincoln, Omaha.
Yeah, I've heard.
See what happens.
A variety of different things. We'll see.
See if they make that commitment.
We'll see. But he's not talking about the Savannah Bananas. He's talking about a banana ball punt, which Matt Rule just explained. You know what I was thinking about? While I sort of thought about a possibly alarming thing while Rule was kind of explaining that there. So he was talking about punting balls from across the 50-yard line and stuff like that, and all the different things you could do, all these weapons at their fingertips. I mean, I talked about it in the formula yesterday. The idea that Nebraska is going to be a little bit more of a balanced team this year. The offense is better. The defense is maybe not top line, but effective, right? We're talking top 30 or 40 offense and defense, and theoretically a top 30 or 40 special teams too, right? That's the idea. That's a winning formula for Nebraska this year. You're just a little bit more balanced across the board. I wonder about this. Please don't be worried. Don't be concerned when I say this out loud. Does this make it more important or more difficult for the coach to be able to manage the game? And stay along with me on this ride, because I literally just kind of, this popped in my head as he was talking there. Right? If theoretically over the last 2 years, Nebraska has been a pretty easy team to manage. Now, I know people would be like, what? That was an easy team to manage? They didn't manage it very well over the last couple of years. But you knew what your strengths were. You knew that you were going to punt in situations where it was probably on the borderline. Why? Because you wanted your defense on the field, and you had generally enough confidence in your punt unit to be able to execute a job. That was an okay unit for Nebraska over the last couple of years, right? There's crucial decisions in there that maybe just get written for you if your team is heavily one side of the other. If you're willing to go along with that theory, maybe you are, maybe you aren't. If you're willing to go along with that theory that I just made up in my head, what does that mean for the game manager, the coach, when you theoretically have equal confidence in your offense, defense, and your special teams? Let's just say, for the sake of this argument, they're all equally trusted, right? Does that make it easier for the coach to manage because he has more options at his fingertips? You just heard Rule talk about the fact that the punter is going to be able to he's going to be able to punt with both feet. He's going to be able to spin it, banana ball it. He could throw it. He can run it. He could do all these he's Booby Miles, basically playing punter for Nebraska. Theoretically, that gives you more options at your fingertips. We trust our offense here. We also trust our defense here. And whatever we do, we trust our special teams to be able to execute it when they're asked to. But does it do the fact that you have more options at your disposal, at your fingertips, actually make it a tougher decision? I don't know. That's something to marinate in.
Depends on the circumstance of the game.
Yeah, it really does. I guess we'll have to bring back situation alert for this year.
If it's a close game, or if it's a chance for Nebraska to put things out of reach.
I don't know. Because he likes the aggressive. He likes going for it.
Mm-hmm.
He said it in that clip. It's true. He likes going for it. So maybe the fact that Nebraska will have theoretically an offense that they could trust a little bit more this year, maybe that makes them a team that goes for it a little bit more. But they're gonna have a punter that they could trust. Yeah. They're gonna have a special teams that they feel like they could put out on the field as well.
Kind of lightens the pressure on that unit, because that's just been a mess for special teams in the last several years.
Yeah, that's I'm gonna put a pin in that one and think about that a little bit more. But anyway, on the idea of the punter, Black Cat writes in on YouTube. Not sure if Rule knows how a boomerang functions. Yeah, I sort of thought that while he was talking too. The ball will not be returning to Archie Wilson off of his foot. And the ball, I think he meant maybe, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt here. I think he meant maybe in the shape of a boomerang. A boomerang is sort of, a half circle.
Or the direction it goes.
But it's not coming back to him. Right? A boomerang comes back to you, but it goes all the way around and it comes back to you. He's boomeranging it in the sense of it's in like the shape of a boomerang, like he kind of curves it around and he swings it around. But as far as I understand it, a banana ball is where it's a little bit of that motion, but you're also kind of punting it so the spin is certainly not over the top and it's not spiraling. It's almost spinning like the baseball equivalent of a gyro ball, right? It's spinning on an axis, sort of. Not in a spiral way, but the other way. Which, look, the fact that he could do all these things, it's great. And so I guess the question here is this. Can Nebraska use their punter as a weapon? Can their punter be a weapon for them this year? I think having more options at your fingertips and the things that you could trust him to do, it helps you out. But I think what Rule is sort of getting at there, with all of Wilson's ability to spin the ball in different ways and come up with these different ideas and things that he can do, the idea is you are increasing the likelihood that the other team screws something up because you're throwing different things at them, right? You are not just sitting back there and conventionally punting it into the air, 40 yards, fair catch, done. All we have to do as the return team in that situation is we have to go out, catch the ball at the very least, if, potentially a lot worse than that if you're the punting team. But if you have this Australian rules, rugby punter, You're throwing a bunch of different stuff at him. It's different spins. It's the banana ball. It's the boomerang. It's the fakes. It's the ability to. You're just thinking about a couple more things. Can that get Nebraska one or two more possessions this year? Maybe.
It's possible.
Maybe, maybe a guy muffs a putt. Maybe a guy, plays it on a bad hop and it touches him and Nebraska recovers it or something like that. So the answer to this question is yeah. I do think it's a good thing to do this and use it and have it at your fingertips. And you just hope that whenever that other team does muff the punt or whenever there is a mistake that occurs on the other side as a result of this punter being able to do all these different things, that you use it on a big moment, right? Like me over the weekend playing the best golf of my life in a competitive atmosphere, right? Not in the Houston Christian game, right? Because it's just going to happen one or two times, something like that. So yeah, I guess the answer is yes. I think Nebraska could probably make this work for them a little bit. Joel tweets in the punts guy GIF, which is fantastic. # punts gone wild. Dude, this is
Punting is back.
This is crazy. I mean, it's not just conventional punting. Like I don't know what this guy is up to. He could punt with both feet. He could throw. He could run. He could do different spins and stuff like that. I don't know. Like normal punters are pretty talented with the football in their hands. Like they could, if you asked them to, they could probably do some crazy stuff with it. But these Australian rules football guys and the rugby guys are like absurdly talented with the way that they kick the football. Now it probably isn't going to be going very far, but you might be able to make some plays off of it. It's kind of like Moneyball, It's you don't have a 45 home, a 50 home run hitter at the plate, but you do have a guy who gets on base like, he's got a 415 on base percentage and he's always, trying to make stuff happen and he's stealing a couple bases and stuff like that. It's not like super duper conventionally talented, but you might have something at your fingertips there. Might not be a bad thing.
Is punting back.
Here's a good, sure, go ahead. Fire that one up. We need a couple poll questions today. John writes in on the text line. This guy might be able to punt with either foot, but he is no Caleb Lightbourne. He won't be punting for negative yards. That happened. Also, Caleb Lightbourne famously missed an onside kick trying to kick off one time. He missed it.
The Ohio State game. That was the COVID season.
Super fun.
I think it. Or
that was in 18.
That was in 18.
That was the game that Nebraska lost by like less than a touchdown, and Adrian had that really bad play where he threw the screen out.
Oh,
yeah,
the 36-31 game.
36-31, I think was the score. Yeah. Dave writes in, I was in North Stadium for the Nebraska-Minnesota game in 2016 when Lightbourne hit his boomerang punt. The audible groans from the crowd as the ball failed to come toward us on me. Yeah, sorry. It's not going to be a boomerang in the sense that it's going to come back to you or anything like that. But it is an interesting sort of idea. Who knows? Maybe Nebraska could be an innovator in the punter game.